saw my last writing video, you know that I am attempting to write a novel in 12 weeks. The entire first week, I wrote this 10,000 word outline. This was an adventure I'd never actually taken before as a pantser. And so for the past 2 weeks, weeks 2 through 4, I have been working my way through, and it has been slow. By slow, I mean I'm on track, luckily, miraculously. But it's been taking more writing time than I anticipated. I have like a block of time before work where I am attempting to do most of the writing, and ideally I'm supposed to be writing 2,000 words a day, but I just haven't been reaching that 2,000 mark in the little piece of time I gave myself before work, which I know that it's physically possible because I used to write that fast when I was a ghostwriter, but now I'm having to take that morning time and basically write until I fall asleep at night. But I think the reason it was taking me so long is because I write all day for work, but it's a very different type of writing. In a weird way, marketing employs storylines, but it's not the same as writing a novel, and I felt a little rusty. And then I think part of the problem is the outline. Like, the outline is the solution, but it is also the problem. I feel like I have this outline of the finished product, or at least what the finished product is going to be. And so I've sort of been trying to make this finished product on the first try, like on the first draft, which is impossible. I don't even know if it's possible to write a first draft and it be ready for publishing, unless you are the unicorn of writers and happen to be able to do that. If you can, please don't tell me. I don't need to know that. And so in doing that, like trying to write perfectly the first time, I wasn't really giving myself the ability to just word vomit whatever came to my brain, which is what I normally do. And so trying to reconcile between having a plan to keep me on track and just putting whatever I want on the page, I've had to sort of find a middle ground in between there, along with the fact that I felt a little rusty when it came to fiction. But I think between fixing that mindset issue and feeling a little bit more back in the swing of fiction vibe, it's going much better the past couple days than it did the first like week and a half of just trying to grind my gears. I now feel a little more like I'm moving. I'm actually making some sort of progress. I think I'm probably gonna finish Act 1 this weekend, and hopefully that will get me to 20,000 words, which means that as I start week 5, will hopefully be at the beginning of Act 2. But we've already passed one of my favorite scenes. This isn't really like a spoiler. If it ever does get published, this would be on the back of the book. My main character, Marley, is supposed to have magical powers, but our potential love interest, Eli, has actually gotten the magical powers, and he didn't even believe in magic. So they're sort of having this conversation about whether we can get the powers back to Marley, and Eli, who is sort of known to be something of a thief, sort of acknowledges that he could just walk right out right now with the magical power. And that's something that in the first draft I didn't really touch on. I think I was too blinded by Marley being my main character that I was like, of course Eli would want to help her. She's awesome. But I think that this time around writing that scene, it's just so much more gripping to like have those sort of sparks of Marley not wanting to talk about the fact that everything she's ever worked for and wanted could walk out the door in 5 seconds, and there's nothing she could really do about it. And then Eli promising to stay and help her get the powers back, and then breaking that promise. Because he realizes that having those powers could help him achieve his main goal in the book. And having that interaction, it was harder to write this time because there was that friction, but I think it's just so much better because I did have it planned out in the outline, and I did want to have a more enemies to lovers sort of arc as opposed to friends to lovers, which is sort of what I feel like the first draft was. And I don't even like reading friends to lovers, so I don't know how that happened. But now she has to figure out a way to track him down, and I'm writing that right now, and like my little main character, look at her just being a detective. I feel like so much better the second time around. I've also grown as a writer and a human since the first draft that I wrote for a screenwriting class maybe like 6 years ago. Anyway, writing songs of the week. Luminary by Joel Sunny, which is going crazy on TikTok. A lot of people are saying it feels like a fantasy book. Urban fantasy counts, right? Goddess by Jaira Burns. I hope I pronounced that correctly, but I don't know. Please Take Me Home by Luther. And I Want by One Direction. I want to hear about your writing projects and or writing projects by authors that you're excited about. I know I am anxiously awaiting Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros, to the point that I'm going to have to probably work ahead so I can take 3 days off of writing to bask in it when it gets here. So that's my little update. Thank you for sticking around for it. I'm still really excited about this project, even though now that I'm in the thick of it, it's hard which I feel like is why it's so important to band together. So if you also like writing, I really would love to hear from you and hear about like what your project is and how it's going, how you're doing mentally. Please like this video if you liked it. Click subscribe if you want to talk about more books and writing stuff. My name's Caitlin. Thanks for watching. Bye!